Hey, what's up? So today I'm going to show you how to go from small talk to big talk using a detailed flowchart. If you're somebody that wants to improve your confidence in social situations, if you want to be able to maintain convos, if you don't want things to get awkward, this video is for you. All right, so let me jump in. This flowchart, ultra detailed. I'm going to go through this step by step, but before I do, let me explain to you how this works. So I kind of color coded this to make your life easier. You're welcome. Number one, the gray, the start and end. So self-explanatory, start and end. The green means you take an action, you proceed, you do something. The yellow is a moment to pause, to think about what you're doing, what you need to assess, if you will. The red is to stop. The blue is to take in information as you're in a conversation with somebody. That's how this is gonna work. So let's just get started because I hate the videos where they talk about stuff for like 7 minutes before they get to the content. Okay, step one, you initiate small talk. Now I'm assuming you already know how to do this because your goal is to get to big talk, but let me just touch on this briefly. Small talk, you're talking about the weather. You're talking about their outfit. You're talking about a restaurant that they went to last week that maybe you want to go to, right? You're talking about trivial matters that are small, hence small talk. Step two. Step two is probably the most critical. I think a lot of people mess up here because they aren't thinking about the other person. Remember, you need to ask yourself, does the other person have time to talk with you? That's step two. You need to know. Maybe they got plans. Maybe their body language is telling you that they don't have time to talk. They're walking away. Maybe they told you that they're going to the gym tonight and you're talking too long to them and they want to go to the gym. So with step two, you need to assess, does this person even have time to talk with you? A lot of times people get butt hurt when they're talking to somebody and the energy and the conversation is not reciprocated, but that's because you've skipped step two, which is you need to assess and determine, do they have time to talk with you? You could just ask them, hey, by the way, you got a few minutes to chat? Also, for step two, I'm gonna have a lot of these sample questions you can use in the document, which you can get from the link in the description, so that if you're in a conversation and you want to be able to find out whether they got time to talk with you directly, I'll have some sample questions you can ask, similar to what I just told you, all right? So you want to determine, do they have time to talk with you? That's step two, very, very critical. If they do, then you move to step 2A. You continue more of the small talk, the rapport, the conversations, you're just warming things up, right? If they don't have time to talk with you, then you go to step 2B. You end the conversation. Again, I'll have a list of questions or statements you can say for specifically 2B, how to end the conversation politely. So maybe you're saying something like, hey, listen, I know you got to run, but it was great catching up. That could work. Or if they start drifting and you see their body going away, you call it. Just say, all right, well, it was good seeing you. Take it easy. Be proactive. Don't wait for them to tell you, all right, well, I gotta get going. Why would you put yourself in that situation? Don't do that. You should be better than that. You don't want to wait for people to tell you, hey, I gotta run. Sorry, I can't sit around and blabber with you for 73 minutes. You don't want to do that to yourself. You want to have some self-respect. So be proactive. If you notice any cues, whether verbally or non-verbally through their body language, end the conversation. Let's assume everything has gone well. So you've gone to 2A, you've continued small talk. Now you move to step 3. You listen to learn about the other person. This is a critical mistake a lot of people make when they're listening. Everybody can just listen. Everybody can do that. I'm talking about listening to learn about what they like, their experiences, what they want to do with their life, not listening to reply, which is what most people do. See, when people listen, they'll listen, but in their head, they're preparing. Okay, well, he's talking about football, and I'm going to go to the football game next week. So as soon as this sentence done, I'm going to be talking about football. Don't do that. That's called listening to reply. I'm telling you, listen to learn about the other person. If you've read Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, which, by the way, I recommend if you have not read it, he talks a lot about this. People, by nature, will like you if you're genuinely interested in them. And not only that, they will talk forever if you talk about them. So it's a win-win in any way you look at this. So you want to listen to learn, absorb that information. Hence, that's why it's in blue. Remember, the blue, you take in information. Then you go to step 4. Do you know about this topic? So now you've listened to them, and you've process some of this information, and now you ask yourself, do I have any knowledge about this topic that they're talking about? Is there anything that I've done in my past that may be beneficial to them? Have I had a similar experience to whatever the hell they're talking about? Whatever. You just want to assess, is this something that you know? Because you want to look for common denominators, right? This is how you build deep rapport with people. So whether that's you trying to have a social conversation with one of your buddies or you're trying to flirt with a girl, step 4 is critical, right? Because you want to be able to have conversations with somebody and let them know that you know about said subject. Let's assume, for the sake of this conversation, that they're talking about how to bake a good quality pie, all right? And you don't know how to bake a pie. So then you go to 4A. Just continue learning. Listen, what is the recipe? What is the process? Do I have the Tupperware? Do I have the ingredients? That's 4A. 4B. If you do know how to make a good quality pie and you have a good recipe and maybe you have some secrets that your grandmother taught you, then you can share your experience and your wisdom and your knowledge. But you've done that after you've listened to take in the information. All right, so let them talk. Process that, give them a break, let them share everything, learn about what their troubles are, what they're trying to do. Let me give you an example. Let's say that they started telling you a story about them making a pie or trying to make a pie 3 days ago, and in your head you're like, oh my God, I gotta tell them about grandma's recipe. That's called listening to reply. So you haven't fully listened yet because the story wasn't even about making the pie. They were going to tell you how in the process of cooking, they spilled some dishes and then they stepped on the plate and then a piece of the plate went on their foot and they had to go to the hospital. Do you know what kind of an asshole you're going to look like if you cut them off in front of this pie story and you start talking about grandma's recipe? Dude, I wouldn't want to hang out with you. Okay? That's why you got to listen to learn, fully take in the information. Once you've determined that they really do want a pie recipe, then you go to 4B. You share your experience, but you got to know where they're going with the story. So let them finish the story. That's step 3. Then if you know about the topic, you go to 4B. If you don't know, you go to 4A. Now we've moved on to step 5. Ask open-ended questions. So now you've initiated small talk. You've assessed that they have time to talk with you. You've continued the small talk. You've listened to learn about them. You know about the topic, or you don't know, but doesn't matter. You're still involved in the conversation. Now you can ask open-ended questions. All right. Now, an open-ended question is a question that cannot be answered with a simple yes or no. Do you like pie? Is a yes or no question. Is there any pie recipes that you recommend that would make my mom so happy that she would tell all her friends about it? What is that recipe and why do you recommend it? That is an open-ended question, right? So that's something deep. Let me give you another example. Let's say that, what the hell is going on with me today? Let me give you another example. Let's say that they like to travel. So let's just forget about the pie story because I'm getting kind of bored of the pie story. Let's say that they're talking about traveling with you and you've determined in step 3 that they love to travel and you also like to travel, but maybe they know about traveling more than you. Now that you've gone to step 5, you want to ask them if they can recommend any travel places to go to. So here's the wrong way to do it first. And again, let me give you the context. It's the summer, you want to take a big travel trip and you want to get their advice. Here's the wrong way. Do you have any recommendations on where I can go this summer? Again, can be answered with a simple yes or no. Let me give you the right way. If you were me, where would you go in the world for a life-changing experience? You see how that can't be answered with a yes or no? Not only that, it's deep, life-changing. They're really going to have to go in their memory bank and think, where have I gone that has made me feel like I've changed? It has been a life-changing experience. Then they're going to share that with you. All right, so let me do a quick recap here. So step 1, you initiate small talk. Then you determine, do they have time to talk with you? If so, you proceed with more small talk. If not, end the conversation, have some self-respect. If you've continued small talk, then you listen to learn. Learn about them. Don't learn to reply. Then you go to step 4. Do you know about this topic? If so, you share your experiences. That's 4B. If not, you go to 4A. You just continue learning about them. There's nothing wrong with that. Just learn more about them, their conversation, what they're talking about. Either way, 4A or 4B, you end up to step 5, which is then you can ask open-ended questions and have that deep conversation. This is how you go from small talk to big talk in a systematic way that you can follow. So if you want this flowchart, there will be a link in the description where you can get it, as well as a lot of sample questions to many of these steps. So for example, if you want to be able to ask verbally, do they have time to talk with you without sounding desperate or needy? I'll put some sample ideas for you. If you found this video helpful in any way, shape, or form, please give this video a thumbs up. Let me know if you like this sort of advice, not only the advice I'm giving, but the way that I'm presenting it. Is this type of flowchart helpful? Because this thing took me a long time to make, and I don't want to do it if it's not helpful for you. So let me know if it's helpful. Also, does the color coding help? I want to know, does that make your life easier? Otherwise, if you learned anything new, like I said, give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. And let me know if you have any other ideas for video topics that may be helpful for you as you improve your social skills and your confidence, okay? Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.